A lot of us love to talk about other brand success stories, but here's what's really going on. We're reverse engineering these movements. When we look at Represent, we don't just see apparel, we see a lifestyle, a 24/7 on a mission mindset that rallies people. People aren't just buying Represent gear, they're buying into a mentality. We're fascinated by how One Wheel taps into something primal, freedom, flow, and everyday adventure. We've seen people ditch cars and extend their communities just to ride. That's not brand loyalty, that's cultural adoption. Take Bear Performance Nutrition. Go One More isn't a marketing line, it's a tattoo on people's bodies. Nick Bear didn't just build a supplement company, he built a mission people can live by. Not just selling, hosting, inviting, facilitating identity, community, and belief. This is the future. Not just brands, but movements. Movements that don't just change what people buy, they change how people live.
We're back in the mix here.
We're
back at the table. Let's jump in outside of the. I mean, one day we're gonna put all our hats on the table. That'd be a good episode. Yeah. But I've got us with a little bit more structure today just to dive into something a little bit more meaningful and see where we land with it.
Cool.
You guys ready?
Cool. Yes,
cool.
sir.
All right. So, what's a brand you loved growing up that still influences you today? I think Coop could start us because you came out the gate when we asked this question with a brand that we were all like, oh, dang it.
Well,
you picked the right one and we can't. Now, what do we do after that?
Well, we were shooting something right before this and I was just taking in what was going on. And
you were taking in my aesthetic.
I was.
You were looking at me going,
I was eyeing you up and down and
today.
I saw your Panic at the Disco.
He's going after you.
Panic at the Disco.
He's choosing violence right now.
Shoe choice, and I was just like, I admired. And so when this came up, I was like, oh, Vans. Vans are like
great choice.
They are obviously.
Yeah, I'm pissed that you picked that because that is a fantastic one.
But like, I mean, if you think about it, their aesthetic, their branding, everything from the 2000s still today is the same. The product is. The quality is still.
I mean, the shoe is exactly the same.
I mean,
like the Vans Slip-On Classic is just the same shoe.
Those for me, like Vans for me, were how a lot of people talk about. How they talk about Jordans.
I mean, like
I thought I could be Tony Hawk or Bucky Lasek and skateboard because I loved Vans and that brand. Like I never resonated with Jordan because I wasn't a real athlete. But that's what those make me think of. Is X Games, going to the X Games.
This didn't make you think. This makes you think emo bands though.
But also
it makes you think.
I mean, that's just the.
But also that.
But also that.
I think that's just. I think that is unfortunately.
This is so old, by the way. Like I have. Let me just call out Vans here. We're just telling you like. It is really hard for me to buy a new pair of Vans.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love the broken in Vans.
Oh, that's the look.
Nothing worse than fresh Vans.
It's like, dang it.
For real.
I want this worn in. Like, even my pinky toe's about to pop out of this one. Anyway, go ahead. You picked a good one, and I'm pissed about it.
I think just the memeability of, like, 2000s punk band has created that, like...
Because what did you sing in your head when you saw my shoes?
I'm not putting that on record.
I'm not. No, you have to because you called me out and you chose violence.
No.
You've got to sing out loud what you sang when you were.
Anyway. Yeah. Vans for me.
Vans are the win.
I don't wear them as much as I would like to. Mm-hmm. They just don't fit into my wardrobe anymore. But those are a classic brand.
What do you mean they don't fit into your wardrobe anymore?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? They fit into every person's wardrobe.
They don't make it the cycle. I have a pair. They just don't make it in.
They need to.
I know.
It's self-conscious. Just get rid of it.
I know.
Just wear them. Anyway, next around the horn, I'll go now. Abercrombie.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Abercrombie, because Abercrombie had a horrible phase. Absolutely horrible in the middle. But when I was younger, did you work at Abercrombie?
No.
Okay. I worked at Abercrombie, and I worked at Hollister, and I worked at Abercrombie Kids, and I went to New York City and worked at their flagship store around the holidays because they tend to invite 3 or 4 employees from their stores to go work the floor there. I couldn't be shirtless because I have tattoos, but they didn't stop them from asking.
Wow.
But Abercrombie had this rad phase where they were doing these really interesting, like the pop-up collar at the time, before it was even like 3 collars, when it was original pop-up collar, it had some cool vibes to it. I really liked it. And then
the youngest one of the group was.
Dude, I'm telling you, pop-up collars are coming back. I'm not even like watch me.
As long as the plaid shorts don't come with them.
Yeah, it's coming back. I'm telling you, the pop collar is going to be back. But they had a horrible stint. They had a lot of controversy, a lot of all kinds of stuff. There's a whole documentary about it.
There is actually.
But then they brought in new creative directors from other luxury brands. I think J. Crew and others came over in the last few years, and their taste went through the roof. And people will say they're the poor man ALD, that like a lot of these streetwear brands, you can get Abercrombie, dare I say, knockoffs of that, or you can get just other quality Abercrombie products that I'm like, I still would buy from Abercrombie now, like for sure. Well, I have swim shorts from Abercrombie that are fantastic.
Oh yeah. And the crazy thing is like, it ebbed and flowed here, but I remember when I lived in Seattle and when I worked at Nordstrom at the time in retail, and people would come in, everyone from Europe, like Abercrombie and Hollister are what Europeans think Americans wear.
Yeah.
Like that's
the wardrobe.
Like, dude, like
when I think coupe, I think Abercrombie.
I do.
Oh yeah,
always through and through.
It's my wardrobe was Abercrombie and Elwood. That's all I wear.
Bro, Elwood wasn't around when you were younger. But
no. So I can't answer this into this, but
yeah.
But even the comeback of Abercrombie, like you made me think of like American Eagle too has made that shift back. Like even I'm like, I want to shop at American Eagle.
You're like, wait. I don't know if I can say that's a compliment or not.
I don't know if that's like good or bad. But dude, their jeans are great. Yeah. Their denim's great, but it's the same thing. But that's crazy.
Yeah, like I don't know if I can take fashion and put from the guy wearing the camouflage over here. Am I right? Know? He's blending in. I can't see him.
With the quarter zip?
Can you see him? I can't see him.
Half zip.
We're going in hard.
I can
we
zip
chose
it.
violence for everybody today. I don't know what that is, Coop. You put blood in the water, and now we're coming for everybody. Good. Okay, what's yours? What's
I'm going to have really hot fashion takes in my really tight Wranglers and my camo hunting gear. You should listen to me about fashion.
Let's go. What's your brand that you loved growing up that still influences you today?
I went Ford Motor Company.
Okay.
I remember in 2005 the first was the generation of Mustang was like, which influenced now, but looks like they did like the retro future thing.
Okay.
That started that trend was the first Mustang, and then it kind of a bunch of other brands followed suit. And I just fell in love with that and Ford trucks, and I've had Ford trucks over and over again. My next vehicle will probably be a Ford truck. Like it's something about the American heritage, Ford versus Ferrari. Like I knew that story at a young age. All that kind of stuff. Like there's something so iconic.
Were you a car family? Like was cars a big thing? Were like working on cars or things like that, or no?
Not super into it. I just kind of.
You just got in fist fights over cars.
I'm a 100% Fast and Furious generation. Like the first Fast and Furious came out.
Diesel, here we go.
Dude, Fast and Furious came out when I was in fourth grade. The first one. I got grounded for seeing it because my friend's older brothers took us to go see it. And I was in love with cars, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Not the women in the show, but the cars.
That wasn't bad
at that
either.
age, I was absolutely going like that. Vin Diesel, not Vin, what's the actor? What's his name? Oh my gosh,
Paul Walker.
Yeah,
Paul Walker. R.I.P.
Yeah, Paul Walker. Yeah, Paul Walker. Every girl's dream, Paul Walker. And then the girl he wanted, you're like, I want to win that girl, and I need a Nissan something.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to see the car, like that generation is the car collecting generation now, because if you look at car values, like Nissan Skyline GTRs, R34 Nissan Skylines, which is that silver one in the first one, which is the greatest car ever, and you can now get them, you now can legally import them into the States. A really nice one goes for $500,000.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's it's a whole old muscle cars, which I still have a love for. Like I have an old Corvette, things like that. Like those are getting cheaper and cheaper because that boomer generation isn't the ones with the money that are trying to collect cars. It's all the JDM stuff.
Fascinating.
But yeah, I mean, I think cars, but Ford is just
that's the one for you.
That's the one. There's nothing like driving around in a 1992 F-150 single cab with the windows down, listening to some Brooks and Dunn. Through Middle Tennessee.
He took us there.
Come on.
He took us there. Took us there. All right, then we have three major questions we're asking in this show today. The first one we did, what's a brand you loved growing up that still influences you today? The next question is, this is a fun one, and then we have one third question that we're going to go way deeper in, and we're going to geek out a little bit on. But the second question is, name a brand you respect but you would not build yourself. Name a brand you respect that you would not build yourself. Who's going first?
I don't know if I have an answer yet.
I have one then. I'll go first. Skims.
Yeah.
Skims.
Yeah.
I respect Skims because I respect Kim. I do respect Kim Kardashian. I'm like, whatever, as like the icon she is for all different reasons.
Yep.
We're not putting that on the show. That's not today. I mean, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is in my house on a regular basis. My wife watches the Kardashians show now. She's a lawyer. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She actually has a license to practice law.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I have so much respect for her outside of some of the other things that I'm like, you do life different. Hey, whatever. But the businesswoman that she is, I have tons of respect for that businesswoman. And Skims, I have respect specifically for Skims, but I couldn't pull it off because of a lot of the other things it takes to pull off Skims.
Are you wearing your Skims right now?
I don't have any yet.
You got them on?
You have.
You wear Skims.
Oh yeah, I don't have them
right
on.
now.
No,
I was gonna say show them.
I was like,
get on the table. Get on. But you have like 3 pairs.
Oh yeah, I love Skims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not. I want to get them because of you. You've got me into Rain Energy drinks, and now you're about to get me into new kinds of underwear. So like this is a weird
where's it going to go from there?
Where's a weird relationship? But the Skims, I have respect on many levels as a business because I remember when it was like, okay, this is really almost provocative. You're like, this is crazy. The nipple bra, those of you that don't know, the bras that allow you to show your nipples through your bra. Like, I'm not target market until they got the NBA. And they landed the NBA as a partner, and Skims started working with the NBA. And I was like, what is happening? The people who make nipple bras, like what kind of underwear are they going to make? Fill in the blank. And I was like, wait a second. But then I started looking at the product. I started seeing the partnerships they were doing. And I'm going, I don't think I could ever pull off this brand as like building it myself for all the other parts. They have the nipple pierced bra. Like you have all these different products that I don't think I could ever pull off. And there's a whole subculture around it that I don't think I feel super comfortable in at all. But if it was like, hey, do you respect it but couldn't build it? I go Skims for me. Skims. Hard one for me.
Yo, when you brought this question up, I went Liquid Death, which is, we talk about them a lot, and we have talked about them quite a bit on the show. But I realized, like, I love that brand. Love what they're doing. Like, if you want to disrupt, like we talk about, like, they're the ones, but I don't think I actually have the cojones.
Dude, it takes a lot.
To go as far as they've gone. The ad with, like, licking sweat off the guy, like, all, like, I even think my line would be
the
like
underwear that you could pee in at a rock concert that's out of leather.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad somebody's doing that. But even me is at that table going like, no, we can't do that. Like, I don't think I have the balls to do it.
Nope, just not. I mean, I hear that. I get that.
I think going off of like the Liquid Death idea, mine would be what Doritos does specifically with like their Super Bowl commercials, like
licking the finger ones.
Well, and like I think of the sonogram, like giving birth one, where the dad is eating Doritos at the end of the table, and the baby like flies out to try to get some. Like similar thought process as Liquid Death, like the crazy stuff that they like. It has nothing to do with the flavor of the chip. They're just like, you want our chips so bad, you'll fly out of the womb for them. You know, it's like that's pretty insane. And I think it from like the production side of it, I can't even imagine like what that mood board looked like.
This is a good episode.
What that set deck looked like. I have no idea what they drew up, but
what were the ideas that they went? Nah,
too far. Yeah, that one got through. What were the ones that didn't?
Yeah.
Doritos were calling you out. What were the ones left on the cutting room floor?
Yeah,
we got to look up the agency that did those.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
that's a good conversation.
That's a good idea.
That'd be great. Like, hey, you want to get on the podcast and talk to us about the womb,
the glory hole, the cheese dust hole in the wall? Are you kidding me? National television?
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, that's good. That's a good call. I like it. All right. So our third question for this show today. We have gone through the first two, the third one. And the third question we have is a deeper one. It allows us to kind of go a little bit into our kind of how we think about brands, and specifically a big passion point for me, where brands can shape into these movements that really influence behavior, that they're not just tools for commerce, but that brands can shape and form culture and impact culture and shape how people think and behave. And so I wanted to ask us to spend some time diving into which brand right now is behaving like a movement, or even, dare I say, becoming a movement, and how they show up in the space for all different reasons. And how we came to the criteria is a little bit of like a hodgepodge of like Simon Sinek's thoughts, Malcolm Gladwell's thoughts, ways that you can study on how movements happen in the world. What are tipping points like? How does something spread? Seth Godin's work on idea viruses and how purple cows and the concept of spreading something to a mass group of people and how it starts with X, Y, and Z and these different components and elements of a movement. So when we looked at brands going, can we kind of just do a couple buckets that we would go pass or fail on? Are they behaving like a movement? So we all have a brand that we're going to dive into and start off with Coop, with your brand. We're going to go left. You're kicking us off on everything because you brought the energy and the violence at the beginning. So you're starting us on yours. I'm not going to give it away, but you can tell your affinity for it, your own story with it, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But Coop's going first here.
So I really genuinely feel like it kind of is a movement. It's almost like cultish vibe with those of us who I am a personal like consumer of this product and this brand, and I've followed it for years and have wanted one for years and finally got one a couple months ago, and good luck getting me away from it and off of it.
It's your therapy.
It genuinely is. I've canceled therapy to go do that instead. And it's One Wheel.
One Wheel.
Yeah, you've probably...
It's about the product and the name of the brand.
Yeah. You've definitely seen it, riding around your cities wherever you are, but it gets you into this like Joel and I are big into like the running space, but it gets you into this like flow state, like almost like this runner's when you're on it, you're just like not thinking about anything because first of all, you could fall off, but you're like,
it's extremely dangerous.
It can be very like dangerous and you're just locked in, you're on that. And that's the only thing you're focused on. And that's their whole pitch. That's their whole because
the way that you're diving into what I want to make sure we highlight is that I'll do a quick pass at this. That way you can talk freely is one of the things, the list of things that we have as a criteria are, does this brand actually have cause bigger or stand for something more than their product? Do they have a message that is resonating and repeating? Yeah. Is there multiple carriers of this? Are people spreading it? Is there a leader in there that's willing to risk for this, or someone that's associated with that brand that people are following? And do they move to behavior, not just a belief system? Are people behaving different because of this brand? So those are kind of the criteria that we put pass or fail on. Is there a cause or a purpose bigger than the product or brand? Is there a message that resonates and is repeatable and shareable?
Yep.
Is there a multiple carriers element to it? Is it getting passed along to other people? Is there a leader or a person or someone that is being followed in this? And do we see a behavior forming, not just a belief about a product, but behavior? So now you can dive more freely into One Wheel as kind of we laid that out.
I mean, kind of what you're talking about is like those of us who we are like evangelists for this company because of what it does for our daily lives. Like I'll ditch my car and make the commute twice as long if it means I can.
Serious?
Like, oh yeah, I'll go to the grocery store if I can.
Where do you put it when you go to the grocery store? You just carry
it? I put it in the cart. Stop. I'll go to a restaurant, like I'll go pick food up all the time just so that like my fiance will be like, hey, do you want something to, and I'll go grab it just so I can like hop on board.
Stop. My wife saw you whipping through downtown Franklin. Until I told her it was you, she was like, there was this guy whipping through downtown Franklin on a one wheel. I was like, that was Coop.
Yeah. These old farts around here, they didn't know what to think of.
You beefed it.
The magicians.
Too. Beefed it.
Oh yeah. I've made it look real nice. But yeah, it's
not your major one wheel look nice. Oh. You've fallen.
Oh, you've come in, like I've eaten it real bad.
And you still use it after that.
I think there's something which, from my fitness background, there's something therapeutic about eating it as hard as I've eaten it, and I'm miles away from home, but I can't carry. It's like a 40-pound board.
Yeah.
So you just have to immediately hop back on and continue riding.
What's the message of One Wheel? Like, what's the thing that they sell?
Their whole thing is like.
So I asked you before about One Wheel when you told me.
Yeah.
And I said, does the message that I know about One Wheel from doing a little bit of research, which is the phrase "ride more, live freer." I was like, does that resonate? And you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, immediately, because like the feeling after getting off of it, or the idea, like I'll plan my day around being able to ride.
We're gonna do an episode where we tattoo that on you.
Deal.
One wheel. We're gonna do a video where Coop gets.
No, we're not. Don't make this so.
Why not?
So this is happening.
You want to get paid?
We'll pay for the tattoo.
We'll pay for the tattoo.
Company expense.
Yep. Ride more, live free. It's got to be placed right, or it could be really awkward.
Lower back.
Lower back.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
one wheel. Okay, so then if you go through a couple of other things, so you have the carrier element is there. You guys are evangelists, people who ride one wheels. They tell you they ride one wheels.
Oh yeah.
You see them. They talk about it.
All over social media.
Yeah, their videos. You see them. They're not afraid to share their videos about where they're going. Their message resonates. There's a sense of like live freer. That message is bigger than their product.
Yeah.
Well, Coop just showed me they do off-road one-wheel racing.
Oh,
like on running trails in the woods.
Oh yeah, I'll be doing that.
Like full motocross padded up, and they're ripping through the woods.
I've already looked at. I will be doing that in the next year.
We need to film it. Like that's awesome.
But then you need health insurance.
Yeah,
that's true.
So then, okay, last thing we'll do with that is you already alluded to it. I'm just calling it out because to keep the flow going here. You alluded to that there is a behavior, not just a belief. You transport differently because of that. Meaning like you choose a different way of your transportation. Like your habits are different because of it.
Yeah, because if I can, get 20 more minutes of serotonin and fun just by commuting a different way, then that's what I'm going to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Love
cool.
it.
That's great. So we got one wheel as yours. I have two. Well, I'll start with one, and if we have time, I'll get to the other one. I'm gonna start with Represent, which is a clothing company based out of UK, but now is international. They're all over the place, and I think they are a movement, and I think there's elements to where they're becoming more and more of that movement because they had to do a massive reinvention. If you listen to the founder George Heaton and his brother, but George specifically on Diary of a CEO, he talks about. Episode. We didn't like the company. We didn't like how it showed itself. We didn't like who we were because of it. We're going to reinvent this whole thing. And they started over. But they for me, so is there kind of this cause bigger than the brand? It is this idea of on a mission. That's their phrase. They even have it on these like specialty gyms that I don't even know where these gyms are. Where they'll show the footage of them working out and it'll be on the wall on a mission, or on some of their apparel items, they'll like their athletic wear, the concept of 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7.
Yeah, even George's kind of own energy is like fitness, fashion, nutrition. Like there's some, I think there's a supplement element. I think Cadence is a part of their
electrolyte. Yeah, their drink. Yeah.
So they have this kind of energy to them that has this community going like, wow, when you buy Represent, your odds are you either know and have an affinity towards fitness, or you are a hybrid athlete, or you are a runner to some level, or you have an awareness of it and you like fashion. Those two together, and it's not like Lululemon fashion. It's like luxury streetwear fashion that is very different than any other athletic type brand that's putting out. It's not the quintessential thing. It is really stylized. Like this is something you would see a collaboration with later on with Louis Vuitton. They've done collabs with Puma, with I'm forgetting the other shoe brand that they did a collab with. But they have fashion items and athletic wear, and it's super spreadable. People who are part of that, they actually find this like mentality, 24/7 on a mission mentality. And the way that they populate that mentality is another part for me through their YouTube ecosystem, where they did the footage of the you were telling me about, you almost filmed it, the Speed Project.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, it's like a
it's like 350 miles from Las Vegas to Los Angeles.
It's insane. And I have no interest in doing it.
Yeah.
But I watched Represent's version of their team running it, which George, the co-founder, is running it.
Yeah.
Like he is in it actively. So you're not only following the mission, you're also following a person. And that's the other part. This leader is absolutely willing to risk for this brand. And that is, again, going to draw so much affinity and carriers of that brand. So many more. So that's a big part for me with them. And so the other part is behavior, not just belief. Again, I am feeling the sense of when I watch their content, when I see what they put out, I'm influenced to fitness.
Yeah.
Like I'm finding myself going, I can dress in the streetwear items that other gym brands would never ever wear.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be caught dead even wearing some of the fitness that Represent puts out.
Yeah.
Like some of the like the fashion items are so different than any other fitness brand that you're like, that could be on a runway. That's not your quintessential fashion brand.
Even their tanks that for going on a run, their 247 stuff is like still super fashionable, but designed for training.
Yeah.
I mean, their tights, everything
is all put
still super high end.
Yeah. And their shoots that they're doing are in like the same building that Interstellar was filmed in. Like they did one of their shoots in that building. They have this whole camouflage connection too that they're doing recently. There's so much aesthetic buy-in from these two worlds of fashion and fitness, which feel like they blend my world a little bit more than other purely fitness brands do for me. Like Gymshark, for example.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a draw to Gymshark at all. Like it doesn't draw me in. I'm not a part of that community. The Represent community, I don't even run ultra marathons or anything. And I'm drawn in to do it. Yeah. And so I feel like there's a behavior change that absolutely influences your lifestyle. When you hear even George talk about it, he has a biohacking element to things as well, where he's talking about his flights. And if you follow his accounts, he's talking about, hey, I'm going to do 2 red eyes back to back, but I'm going to test out cold plunging, sauna, this to see if it impacts my sleep and jet lag. There's absolutely this buy into a new frame of mind and lifestyle that the On the Mission 24/7 framework and mindset is out there. So I think they're absolutely a movement for a certain group and becoming a wider spread movement into fashion as well.
Yeah.
Those are mine.
That's awesome. I think it's a really easy transition into the brand
True.
So one, like you talk about this, like their high fashion and fitness and health and wellness, and with Cadence now their drink, like they're in the supplement somewhat world, but they are a really unique. It draws a really unique crowd, and it came really apparent to me. So they just recently, at the time of recording this, released a vlog on their YouTube of their Austin trip. Represent did, but George did, and they did a run, the 247 Run Club meetup with 100 people. They went for a 5K, had a coffee truck, had Cadence, hung out, got to meet people, and
again, that's just that movement part. Like they don't have a look. They're like popping up there.
Yeah, exactly. They were in town. They did some workouts with some other influencers and High Rocks athletes. But the uniqueness of the people on that vlog in the 247 Run Club versus Bare Performance Nutrition, BPN, which is it might be one of the only brands that I am upset, like a diehard fan for. From who Nick Bare is as a founder to the products they make, the content they put out, but it's very interesting is those two overlap in like a Venn diagram. And I love George. I mean, represents an inspiration for a project Coop and I are involved in that's in fashion, like just that movement piece of Represent. None of that gear I want.
Dude,
period.
I was like, if I take the stuff off Represent's catalog and collection that season, I put it on you, it would be so weirdly placed.
But like BPN's graphic tees and stuff with they're a lot. And I mean, getting into their cause, like they're known for within the last several years is the Go One More movement.
Right.
People get it tattooed left and right. They're influencers.
Wait, is that for real? They get it tattooed?
Yeah, people. I've almost gotten Go One More tattooed more than once.
You're getting.
If you get that,
one man, he's getting that. So you'll get on a mission. No, I'm gonna get On a Mission tattooed on me. You're gonna get what is it? Free to where?
Ride more, live freer.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, and you're gonna get Go One More. We're gonna do an episode where all 3 of these movements we're gonna get tattooed on us somewhere. Hey, I'm down to get On a Mission tattooed on me.
Deal. I'll get one more. Go One More right here. Just put it right here. Let's go. Done.
Bro, watch out.
Maybe I'm not diehard enough.
Company expense.
Maybe I'm not diehard enough. Sorry, One Wheel. I'm not representing enough.
Wow, One Wheel. There goes your free One Wheel sponsorship.
It's over.
But yeah, like it's Nick as a founder is very gifted as a communicator.
Yeah, he's very inspiring.
Leader, very inspiring. There's Go One More, but one of my favorites is that he says a lot is consistently good, occasionally great. So he's like, it's brick by brick. Like you're logging the miles, you're stacking the bricks. Like it's very more like become obsessed with the work, not the result.
Yeah.
which I love about that brand.
Yep.
And the cool thing is it's not just the movement that's good. Their products are great. And in a very, 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 very crowded space that is the supplement industry and health and wellness.
They're pioneering on some stuff.
And then they recently pivoted to go, because Nick Bare's journey of fitness, it was bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit.
Really? Okay.
This run endurance thing happened in 2018, 2019 when he started doing Ironmans.
Okay.
And then started running marathons. Like Coop and I were literally talking about Nick Bare this morning. We probably talk about BPN probably once a day.
They're a playbook for a lot of the things we even think about.
Yeah.
Them represent and others are.
And I think health and wellness and the fitness industry is on the front end of this movement, like abandoning influencer world and moving towards community driven. Like they're always on the front end, in my opinion. But kind of just jumping through these categories, right? Like the cause is bigger. Going more is so much more. I mean, he's got his next book that's coming out is going more.
Yeah,
he's writing another book.
And the moment you put literature out too, it just fuels a movement even more.
Yeah, the podcast is now around it. Their tribe of just the affinity of the brand, like they have traditional influencers and athletes that they sponsor, but it's huge outside of that. Like a ton of people, and they're really good at showcasing people's stories. Their ultra marathon that they just put on was a class act on how you do brand awareness. It's just nuts. And then it is all attached to Nick Bare. And you can go back, which I love, is last year, Nick kind of pulled back a little bit, and he moved to Nashville for a hot second.
Oh, wow.
He lived in 12 South, and then for about a year, and then they ended up moving back. He put a different CEO in.
Okay.
He kind of figured it out, and in that process, I realized, like, that brand is still Nick Bare. So he can't. They're back in Austin. He's been back in the CEO seat, but like he is the tip of the spear for the movement. He is the affinity, and his ideal journey of testing, trying, conquering, overcoming is the guiding light of the leadership of the movement, of the cult-like movement.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good.
And it's. I mean, yeah, I'm a
diehard
fan.
They did it, and they like to show the spreadability of them.
Yeah.
Their recent event, the Last Man Standing
ultramarathon,
but it was ultramarathon, but a Last Man Standing ultramarathon.
Yeah, you go till there's one left,
and they shot that. It's insane, the content production. There's guys on Instagram that are fantastic at understanding content strategies that are putting out. I think Alex Garcia is his name. He's putting out such insight into that shoot and what it took to do that. But they grew by 50,000 followers from a one event thing that they did. Like that's how quick and sticky they are as a movement.
Over 48 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And their sales, like Nick talks about one of his recent vlogs, like the uptick in sales. All of it is just world class.
Yeah. And I think what's so good about us having this conversation, which I loved this framework and format going through it, is because when we're building everything for the brand strategy agency that we're doing, that the work we work on is even having our own sense of, are we populating a movement ourselves? Are we thinking, and that's the phrasing and the terminology we're using, where it's like fuel that pioneer spirit for brands that refuse to settle. This kind of ethos and energy is how we align with potential clients. We're pushing that ourselves. So the reason why this matters for us is we're thinking like this as a company as well, going, all right, are we going to become a movement and a cause? Can we think like that? And how does that influence what we do and how we show up?
And we are obsessed with these brands like this, having these discussions and trying to reverse engineer them and apply them in the context that we work with different clients and ourselves. Like it's funny that we talked about all this and we didn't talk about the number one inspiration for everything that we're doing. Coming on another episode, we'll break down why Huckberry is our biggest inspiration.
Coming for you.
But it's fascinating, like just the approach that we're taking, but it's all inspired by all of this.
Yeah.
Like this
so good.
This is the foundation.
Yeah.
So
That's it, man.
Cool.
All right, guys, let's get some lunch.